Battle Cage, Battlecast, episode numero uno. Welcome. Shout out Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell for this soundtrack. Woo! Thank you, Bryce Mitchell. Shout out Thug Nasty. Got a mixtape out. He got a mixtape out. Doing big things. Like that, and he will be on this card. So we're definitely gonna be touching base with Thug Nasty. So without further ado, welcome to UFC 272, Covington versus Masvidal, taking place This Saturday, guys, is going down March 5th. We're just 2 days out. It is Thursday, March 3rd. And there you probably have seen several other video reviews out there. And that's fine. But you haven't seen Battle Cage. So without further ado, let's just talk about what we got going on. We got two boys, two friends, two close training partners turned bitter rivals. In fact, heated rivals. You know what I'm saying? Things got personal. They talking about each other's families, and you know, and it got pretty nasty. They've been going at it for a while. The soup has been brewing. Well, you know what? We're about to feast on their, on this whole situation this Saturday. So that's the headliner. It is a pretty good card overall. I think the main card is good. Now we don't have a title fight on this card. It is still a pay-per-view. Just given the heavyweight, the names, right? Their names speak volumes. Colby Covington, notorious character, and Masvidal is just as notorious from the UFC promotion as you can get, right? So now let's not waste any time. Let's go to our trustworthy, as much as we can say trustworthy, but the website that I use to break down and give you the story and the narrative and analyze fighters' profile is Topology. So let's go in. We currently have 13 scheduled bouts in this card. We had the co-main event, RDA versus Rafael Fiziev fall out, which is a bummer, but the show must go on. We had like a day, 24 hours, where we were just like fingers crossed, praying those who are true MMA fans, and we just wanted to see Islam and RDA come into fruition, but that didn't happen. Again, I don't really know if it was RDA side or it was Islam's side, but that would have been a spectacular co-main event. But it is what it is, and we have Renato Moicano, so let's give him a clap. He's coming in to fill in this space, so RDA gets the chance to fight. He was looking for a fight, and he got it. We also have Edson Barbosa, big name with one of the most full resumes, taking on Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell, the same Bryce Mitchell whose song I just played. So that kind of should give you a little sneak peek. We got Kevin Holland featuring his debut. I don't know. I think he fought before, but this is his first fight in the UFC at the welterweight 170. And we have the opening fight of the heavyweight of the main card with some heavyweight action. Sergey, I think his name is Polar Bear, if I'm not mistaken, Spivak, taking on Greg Hardy, and I believe his nickname is the Prince of War, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, just give me a second. And it is the Prince of War. Okay, so yeah, so that's our main card. So looking forward to that. But you know what time it is. This is a full card breakdown. So let's take a closer look at all the scheduled fights on this card, and just do our best of taking the best side and taking the best pick. Now, with that being said, let's go into the first fight. It is gonna be Dustin Jacoby taking on Michał Oleksiejczuk. Okay, and we got some action at light heavyweight, 205 pounds. Dustin Jacoby is coming in with a record of 16 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. Taking on Michał Oleksiejczuk, 16 wins, 4 losses, and no draws. Dustin Jacoby is currently around minus 200 mark, and Michał Oleksiejczuk is returning plus 160 as the underdog. 33, almost 34 for Dustin Jacoby, 27 years old for Michał Oleksiejczuk. 6'3" for Dustin, 78 reach. So he will be coming in with an advantage versus 6 foot and 74 reach. So a notable difference in the physicality world. In the last 5 fights, Michał Oleksiejczuk is 3 for 5. He had a setback against OSP and Jimmy Crute. He picked up a win prior to that to Antigolov, and then he wrote out a split win against Modestas Bukauskas and Shamil Gamzatov, which I called relatively well because Shamil Gamzatov was coming in as a undefeated guy, and the lines were pretty much even. And I said there has to be more to that because you never get a Russian that's undefeated at even money odds. So there was some foul play, and so yeah, there was some foul play, and I capitalized. I capitalized pretty well, and I caught Michał Oleksiejczuk right at the walkouts. I believe I dropped like 3 or 4 units on that. Dustin Jacoby also was very profitable for me because I caught him straight, maybe 4 or 5 units as a single play against Darren Stewart, and I was just as happy to have Dustin Jacoby in my, I believe, a 6-leg parlay that returned like around, I want to say it was a good return. It was a return of around maybe 8.5 to 9 units. So both guys were profitable for me, but I have to say that when you analyze the 2 fights, and Michał Oleksiejczuk is not going to be at least I'm not expecting him to be a heavy wrestling approach. The guy likes to stand and bang. And that's going to be very favorable to Dustin Jacoby, who is a fighter and a pretty good striker, if I might add. He has a good, well, not good, but he has a legitimate striking experience, as he was a kickboxer, and he has professional kickboxing bouts in Glory. So he fought for Glory promotion. He did have some wins there, some losses. One of the notable names is John Salter, that he fought at Bellator, even though he picked up an L. Still, that gives him experience. Here's a kickboxing bout with Alex Pereira, the same dude that just knocked out in his debut, and the same dude that knocked out Israel Adesanya in kickboxing. So, from the resume perspective, I do appreciate what Dustin Jacoby brings to the table. And as such, I have to say that if the fights remain standing and they decide to bang, I'm going to have to edge Dustin Jacoby, as his resume is a little more impressive, as he took out Justin Ledet. He fought He fought Maxim Grishin and gained this unanimous decision. He had a draw against Ian Kuralaba, which is not bad at all, being that Ian Kuralaba he's a monster, you know what I'm saying? So that's not bad. And here's that KO win against Darren Stewart, as I mentioned. as well as a win against John Allen. So overall, collectively, I believe the striking advantage from kicking, from punching, even power, I am favoring Dustin Jacoby. And, this is a good run that he's on. I have to be taking that momentum. I'm not disrespecting Michał Oleksiejczuk, but, I'm just unless this guy comes out with some heavy graveling approach, which I'm not very, very confident with that. So all of that collectively said, I'm gonna be taking Dustin Jacoby as a straight pick, and maybe consider him in a parlay piece. He has the power and tools to knock the guy out. If it's something that you like to do with some props, I personally don't really get into it unless I'm very confident. So, but the side that I'm going to be taking is Dustin Jacoby. Alrighty, so let's move down along. Fight number 2. Fight number 2 is Ľudovít Klein versus Devonte Smith. Ľudovít Klein, coming into the UFC, had a 7-2 record with a nickname like Mr. Highlight, which was kind of impressive to me. Which naturally gravitated me to him, but he's been nothing but a letdown. He's taking Devonte Smith with a record of 11-3, who's also coming off a recent loss not too long ago to Jamie Mullarkey, who happens to be on this card, which we will touch later in the podcast. So 27 for Ľudovít Klein, 28 years old for Devonte Smith. The last weight for Ľudovít Klein was 145. Now this fight is at 155, so you could argue that he might be better, and that could be advantageous. I beg to differ. It's not always the best decision to move up. Now it does favor some fighters, but here I'm not really sure. Devonte Smith, I think, is a better technical fighter. He's a more natural athlete, and he has some physicality advantage. He's 5'9" to 5'7". He has a 4-inch reach advantage, 76 to 72, and he's coming off a pretty decent gym factory ex Muay Thai. So again, let's just quickly look into individual's profile. As I mentioned, when Ľudovít Klein came in and he took out Shane Young, I was like, man, this guy could be that secret sauce. So what happens? He fights Mike Trizano and he loses. He came in at a minus 235. And given his performance, I said, that's not bad. I got burned with him, And then I learned my lesson. And when this fight was announced, he was minus 390. And I said, hell to the no. Not after what I saw. And being, a fan of Nate the Train, I said this is a good spot for me to get my money back. So I took the dog plus 300, and the man came through. So in this case, you could say his job is on the line, and they're giving him Devonte Smith, who's also kind of shaky, right? In the last 5 outings, he came impressive, finished his opponent, Joseph Laurie, a Dana White Contender Series, finished Julian Erosa, which is a good win. That's a very experienced and seasoned fighter. I mean, look, since then, originally, Erosa had 22 wins, right? Since then, since last fights in 2018, Julian Erosa has picked up wins, additional 5 wins. So, Julian Erosa, ever since, getting that L to Devonte Smith, then Grant Dawson, then Julio Arce, he picked up some wins, along the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins, which is pretty damn good. And he's beating Steven Peterson, Charles Jourdain. He did suffer a loss to Sion Wushu, which I should have backed heavily, but it is what it is. And he even beat Nate Landwehr, the one we just talked about, with a flying knee. But you can knock out almost anybody clean if you land with a flying knee. So, he did finish Sean Woodson, some tall dude, and AJ Bryant. So again, I think that's a pretty good win, in my opinion. And and then won Dong Yun Ma, and then got knocked out by Commonworthy. Then he fights Justin James, who should have probably never been in the UFC, but was only there as an opportunist because of the opportunity during the pandemic. And you know what? No fault of anything. He did have a win, a spectacular win in UFC, if you remember. But again, not UFC caliber. Great fighter, but just not UFC fighter. More of a regional, LFA, maybe Bellator type of fighter. And then he took Jamie Mullarkey, who, again, we'll talk in a bit. And he got knocked out in the second round, So it's like, am I a little bit concerned about his chin and durability? Yeah. So you got, of two fighters that, pretty relatively young in their careers, and this is their chance to stay in the UFC or maybe explore some other options. Like I said, I'm gonna be favoring just a little bit Devonte Smith, being that he's been at this weight class. I think he's just a better athlete. My confidence level is not too strong about this fight. And if you have to ask me, being that this is, kind of their job on the line, I would have to favor the fight not going a distance. So I did take a look at that, and we could do that together. So will the fight go to distance? I believe it got juiced up. It wasn't minus 196, but it is now. So perhaps I'm not the only one that's thinking like, their job is on the line. What are we going to do? So if you don't like to take a side, which I really don't like to take a side, Devonte Smith at 170, or just say, hell, I don't care who wins. Just let the fight not go to distance at minus 196. And that's where I kind of think the fight should stand. They need to finish. They both hard punchers. Ľudovít Klein, out of his 17 wins, has finished 16. So he is a finisher, and I'm banking on that finish to come through or be finished. Same thing with Devonte Smith. If you look at his wins, 10 wins are KO. And you know what? Let them bang, let them slang, let the fight not go to distance. That's kind of where I'm feeling with this fight, okay? We're going to move down along to fight number 3. And our fight number 3 is... one second, let me just write this down. Our fight number 3 is Tim Elliott taking on Tagir Ulanbekov. So what can I say? Tim Elliott, 35 years old, a win record of 17-12-1, taking on 13-1 Tagir Ulanbekov, who's 30 years old. Got that Russian flag, so you know where he's from, and he's from Makhachkala, Russia. So he's in that Russian region. That all these, all these Russians that come from, that love to wrestle, that come with that heavy, aggressive approach, and that just giving everybody problems, right? So Tim Elliott, 5'7", Tagir 5'7". The reach advantage is to Tagir. And now, the gym that Tim Elliott is coming from is Glory MMA. So you know who should be in his corner, or at least helping him train, and that is the one, the only James Krause. And I really respect the guy's mind, his fight IQ, and I think he's one of the good coaches in MMA. Okay, so that kind of gives me some advantage. Now, coming in as a minus 400, Tagir Ulanbekov in his last fight, he kind of did not look like a minus 400, and it just made me take a step back and say, you know what? I'm not really sold on on Tagir Ulanbekov, because some dude, Alan Nascimento, who's coming in, who has a pretty good record overall, but he gave you that much trouble? I don't know. So what is a more seasoned fighter like Tim Elliott, who fought everybody you can name? Look who he fought: Brandon Royval, Askar Askarov, Ryan Benoit, Jordan Espinosa. His last fight, Mateus Nicolau, who's damn good. Just remember his name. He fought the current champion, Davison Figueiredo. He fought Mark De La Rosa. He fought Louis Smolka. He fought the champion, Demetrius Johnson. So he's really, really been there. Now, has he suffered losses? Yes. Look, Joseph Benavidez, Ali Bugatinov, he has suffered losses. John Dodson. But I'm talking about all these names at flyweight that, are kind of like staples at this point. So he fought a lot of dudes, okay? Extensive record, And out of those 17 wins, let me see. Oh, sorry. I think I went too far. So out of those 17 wins, he kind of writes out 10 decisions. And here's a fun fact, 8 submissions. You got to pay attention. Now, am I saying he's going to go out there and, write out Tagir Ulanbekov? Not really. But Tim Elliott, he got this extremely unorthodox, style where he'll just like quickly dodge, spin, kick, go for a takedown. Dodge, spin, punch, he's like all over the place. He's extremely unorthodox, extremely unpredictable. And what if this just catches Tagir and he's like, holy smokes, I'm not prepared for this. Again, I don't know. I really cannot tell you. Now, he has a win over a name that we know. And I'll tell you the name. He beat, the loss. He has a loss to Zaglas Zumuglulov, who is really not that good, right? Who has a pretty streaky record himself in the UFC. Got knocked out against Manel Cap just recently. So, man, very, very tough fight. But this, if I have to say, I don't like Tagir Ulanbekov at minus 255. And you can see how much he dropped, right, after that first fight. Because, man, he gave everybody a scare. Don't like it. Not sold on it. And if anything, I can probably see myself taking a stab at plus 200 in a parlay as a juicer, okay? Now, is it something that I'm confident? No, I'm probably going to say I'm 4 out of 10 confidence level. But just given everything here, I'm not very, very confident. You could explore your other options, possibly taking the distance or the over, given the fact, if you look at Tagir Ulanbekov and you say, well, how is he doing? He has six decisions and 7 submissions. Between them, 15 submissions, okay? So something to consider when you're trying to evaluate the fight. If I'm Tagir's camp, I may want to have an extremely dominant performance, whether it's complete dominance, unanimous decision, or possibly a finish. And being Tim Elliott, man, I don't see him wanting to go to decision. Unless he's the one who's taking down Tagir Ulanbekov and he's the one who's controlling the fight. Perhaps he wants to finish, catch that submission. And that's going to present. It should be presented in this fight. So if you look at the over, it's over 2.5, 176, which I'm not really liking here. Because it could go under. The under is very, very lucrative at plus 138. I will say that. But overall, my personal take is if you're going to take this fight, you don't take it straight unless you're really, really high on Tim Elliott or unless you're really, really high on Tagir. The only thing I would say is if you're feeling the fight should end, you take the under, or at least fight doesn't go the distance so you can give yourself an extra round. But in my experience with the flyweights, man, if they go that far into the third round, it usually goes to the end. So here's your under, fight not going the distance, plus 116, which is not good enough, right? The under 2.5 is more lucrative to me. But the fight going the distance at minus 148 is a lot better. So again, I'm not going to tell you what to do here, but at least is where I'm feeling. And this fight is a very low confident level. The public perception is that Ulanbekov should win. I don't think it should be like that. The best I can give him is probably 75%. And that's at best. That's me being extremely generous after his last performance. So with that being said, I'm going to take an official stab on Tim Elliott, and I think I did. I put him in a parlay as a juicer. Okay, that's where I stand, and that's where we're going to go with. Moving down along, our next fight number 4 that we're going to talk about is Umar Nurmagomedov taking Brian Kelleher, okay? So we have pretty quick review over here because we got almost an automatic Umar Nurmagomedov. You already see the last name. He's hailed as the heir to this whole dynasty. Moving down along, he's extremely talented. He has a 2-inch reach advantage, 5'8" to 5'6". He has the youth on his side, 26 years old versus 35. Ever since he could walk, he was wrestling, and ever since he could walk, he was training. So he's been bred and fed to do this. This is what they do every single day, 365 days a year. Probably 10 to 12 hours a day. This is how much they're dedicated. They're just constantly in training mode. They're constantly living the sport life, okay? So, yeah, these guys, this is what they do. They're just so dedicated to the craft. Taking Brian Kelleher, who has picked up 2 wins consecutively, Domingo Parlate and Kevin Kroom. Good for him. Good for him. I think this is a pretty bad matchup for Brian Kelleher, and we're gonna look to get Nurmagomedov as a 3-leg parlay piece for that little juice that he's gonna give you because he's so stupid expensive at minus 750. And if you track the line, he opened up at minus 490, and he then boomed out, blossomed to minus 600. Now you can see at minus 750. Can this get any crazier? I don't think anybody taking that straight pick, but they probably adding him as a parlay at this point, as a stem, if you will. So the pick is Nurmagomedov. This is a very short review. There's nothing I can tell you. The only thing that I will say, if you look out of the 13 fights, he got 6 submissions, 6 decisions. He doesn't knock people out usually, so I don't see that. So there is a double chance option in FanDuel. This is where my lines are coming in, by the way. Don't get paid by FanDuel. I wish I did. That way I could quit my job. Just happens to be the platform that I utilize the most out of everything, and that I find that all the lines that I want are usually available to me over here. So will the fight go to distance? It's a coin flip. I don't know. I really can't tell you. But what I can tell you is the double chance, being that I don't think Brian Kelleher gets knocked out per se. He can. I'm gonna hope for him not getting knocked out. And with that being said, Nurmagomedov by submission or points is minus 330. And that would be decent. But again, I wouldn't lay chalk on that, but I would consider that as your parlay piece should you decide to do like a prop play. And that is something that I would feel a little more confident given the circumstance at a confidence level of, I would say, 6 out of 10. That is where my head is out on this fight. Okay, there's really nothing else that I can tell you over here that you probably don't know at this point. Let's move down along to fight number 5. Fight number 5. We got an interesting one here. Another friends turned enemies type of situation. Mariya Agapova taking on Marina Moroz. Mariya Agapova, she kind of won our hearts in a bit. She's very explosive. She's young. She's an excellent striker. She has shown some submission skills because her last win is rear naked choke. So there's some evolution. Again, very young. She's going to be 25 years old. So she's at that stage where her progression is just going to be, exponential. And sky's the ceiling for this girl depending on how hard she's training. I think she likes fighting from what I can tell you, from what I've seen. And I got to tell you, This is a much closer fight than you think. The current lines here are Agapova minus 188, Moroz plus 152. We can actually track some line movement here. Here's FanDuel minus 196 to minus 188. And again, as people doing their homework, they're kind of realizing, well, you know what? Marina Moroz, who's a seasoned fighter, who's been there since 2015, who has fought a lot of competition, Daniel Taylor, Carla Esponza, Angela Hill, Sabina Mazo, Marina Bueno Silva, and before that, the list goes on. Daniel Taylor, Christina, Joanne Wood, believe it or not, she beat Joanne Wood via an armbar. So, you know, if the technical fighter, patient fighter Marina Moroz shows up, and something you gotta watch for, here's the flag. This flag is in the news. The whole world is watching. There's beef with Russia and Ukraine going on right now. And I gotta tell you, if you want my political stance, I think this is a complete horse of shit. What's going on there, and it's just so frustrating that people have to die. It's really frustrating. But let's not go into too much politics. But perhaps her pride is on the line as well here too, and she wants this victory not only because there's some beef going on, but she sees a bigger picture and she's like, let me do this for Ukraine. Let me show that fighting Ukrainian spirit, right? So the bigger implications here, I'm looking at much bigger implications. Now Agapova, she's really butthurt from what I understand from what transpired between these girls, and she wants to really pound her and fight her. So you know what? If Mariya Agapova goes out there, balls to the wall, and gasses out, she may be vulnerable for a possible finish from Marina Moroz. But if Mariya Agapova is coming out to like, I'm going to really put a hurting on you, and I don't care if you're Ukrainian, I don't care what goes on, I just really hate you, and I just really want to hurt you, she may get a finish as well. So, you know, with the ladies' fights, really hard picking the fight, not going the distance. But it's a stab of a chance that I'm willing to take, given the whole climate of the situation. Plus 116, again, not a big chalk play that I would, go heavy on. Something to consider. But the dog here is absolutely live. The dog here at plus 152 is lively, and perhaps a live situation play at hand. Perhaps let the first round go, and if you see a hint of Agapova slowing down before that bell, and you see the momentum shift toward Marina Moroz, you hammer, and you hammer really well. Same thing for Agapova, but Agapova, if she's already at minus 188, and she's dominating, she's gonna go to minus 500 right away. So again, what do you want to do? I can't really tell you. I wish I could, but even I'm not really certain. But I will say this right here, wrong. I don't know. I'm looking at a bigger picture. I'm looking the experience for Marina Moroz, and she's not past her age at all. She's at the peak of peakness, coming in with 2 wins, okay? So, again, I cannot disrespect a girl with such, what is it called? Like, experience in the UFC. More of her, like, half of her fights are in the UFC. Just take a look. Her debut goes back to 2015, I said. 2015, yes. Her debut was actually Joanne Wood, formerly Calderwood, right? So, both girls were undefeated, and she got that W. She got that W over here in a debut. So, again, she was just 5 fights in, and now she's 10. Her 5 fights are in, more than 5 fights, right? 8 fights in the UFC. So, I cannot blindly just not consider that. I have to consider that. So with that being said, do I think the striking advantage favors Mariya Agapova? Yes. Do I kind of want her to win? Yes. Do I think 100% she's going to win? No. So this right here, I would not like it. I would probably say this is a 60-40, maybe even a 55-45, to be honest. I'm not liking heavy confidence on Agapova, just putting it out there because the line is not good enough. If she was minus 150, yeah, stab it, but not close to 200. Then it's getting dicey. Then I'm really disrespecting everything about Marina Moroz. I'm disrespecting her technicality, her patience, her experience, her maturity. I'm taking all of those out of factors, and that's not good, okay? Her wrestling, her striking, I'm taking, the fact that she can simply outpoint Mariya Agapova, go to distance and just simply outpoint, and you're not going to give me that into consideration. I don't like that. I would say live dog, gun to my head, Agapova is the pick. Not very confident. Live dog, absolutely believe it. It could happen, you know what I'm saying? I would not be surprised. So that's the information that I'm going to present to you. Do as you wish. Fight number 6 going down. We got, now this guy, I can't even pronounce his last name. Nick, and I'm going to do my best. Negumereanu. Oof, man, I think I killed it. Taking on Nzechukwu. We got 11-1, taking 9-2. The slight underdog is Nick. Just Nick. That's all I'm going to call him. Nick versus Kennedy. Romanian fighter, 27 years old. This is a light heavyweight bout at 205 pounds. He's a 6-footer with a 78 reach. Taking on the African savage, Nzechukwu. He's coming in with a slight favorite side on him. I believe it should be kind of considered, being that he's, it's just a big dude. He's 6'5", 83 reach, so he got 5 inches on this dude. Coming in from Fortis MMA, decent gym, right? Decent gym. If you want to look at who's there, you got Alex Morono. Here's Damian Jackson, Ryan Spahn. So there's some bodies that he could be learning from. Diego Ferreira. Jeff Neal, Miles Johns, who disappointed everybody. Freaking asshole, lost everybody, right? Who else do I see? Alonzo Mainfield, Abdul Razak Al Hassan. So they got some names. Ramiz Ibrahimovic, who just came off a win. So there's some names. There are some UFC fighters in here. There's a lot of decent things going on. Okay, you could say that. A lot of people taking the dog here. I don't really like the dog here. I don't know why. Because, he could outstyle him. He could outpoint him. He could finish him. Nick has, let me see how many finishes. 7. Not bad, right? Not bad. 3 submissions. He kind of a finisher kind of guy. So, yeah. Maybe this is why they're seeing some value. And again, I think the public perception is correct here. 59-41 is pretty decent, and that reflects the bookies. That is, this is kind of the honest opinion here. There's no bias going on. I think this is as real as you can get. Like 59-41 is right. Is right. Because we did see some durability from Nzechukwu when he took an ass beating from Carlos Ulberg in the debut. But he bounced back and he finished the guy. But then, he finishes Danilo Marquez, who's another big dude. And he gets rocked out by Dan Unjong. But Dan Unjong, man, Dan Unjong is a monster, okay? I do believe that. So, it's crazy, right? But he got elbowed in. He got outplayed. He got outplayed. Again, I'm leading Nzechukwu. I believe I have Nzechukwu in one parlay, and that's about it. Fight doesn't go to distance. Let's scream that out in fruition, because it looks like a finisher taking on someone who has all the abilities to finish, right? He got 6 KOs and 3 decisions. There's a lot of finishes going on, a lot of power, a lot of muscle in here, okay? You can't disregard that. So let's see if the bookies are on what I'm thinking. And I'm saying fight doesn't go to distance, minus 215. they're kind of agreeing a little bit, right? They're kind of saying, yeah, we kind of have to agree with you. And yeah, so fight doesn't go to distance. So let's add that prop. For this pick, I'm going to say, instead of picking a side here, although slight favorite, have to kind of go with Nzechukwu. Not too sure. But I'm going to say fight doesn't go to distance. And that's it. That kind of wraps up this fight. There's really nothing to say. I wish I could tell you more. You could go into technicality, but you saw it for yourself. We got to finish it. We got an all-around fighter who packs power, who's taking on another guy who packs goddamn power. But I would say, though, Nick probably has the wrestling advantage. So perhaps that is what driving people to take the plus money here. And they're saying if Nick gets Kennedy Nzechukwu down, which is not easy to do. I'm telling you right now, this big boy can defend it against the cage. Again, we can only know when the time is at the time of the fight. By that time, it's probably too late. But yeah, fight doesn't go to distance, minus 215. We're gonna add that in the parlay, and we're just gonna have just that. Now, fight number 7, which is a good one, guys. We got Marina Rodriguez taking on Xiaonan Yan. Okay, 41-24. And I gotta tell you this. Okay, my brother, who's not an MMA fan. I mean, he is an MMA fan, but not like a crazy MMA fan like me, as you can see. But he just saw some highlights, and he said, man, Rodriguez is a fucking beast. She's an animal. I said, yeah, man, I like Rodriguez. And then he looked at Xiaonan Yan, and he said, damn, this girl's a beast too. I said, yeah, these girls can bang. So these girls are actually really, really good. The only thing is, it's like, damn, Xiaonan Yan got knocked out by Carla Esparza, who usually doesn't knock people out like that. Whereas Marina Rodriguez just knocked the shit out of Amanda Ribas a year ago, and then beat Michelle Ward, and then beat Mackenzie Dern, who people were high on, right? So, man, Marina Rodriguez is literally probably this win away, and she's a title. She got to fight for the title. I mean, you got to give it to her at this point. That's it. I got to be favoring Marina Rodriguez, but you cannot count out the damn dog in here. I just think the line is too crazy. I personally don't like the line. I think the line is ridiculous. It's just absolutely stupid. And something smells in the air, man. That could be the freaking shit that could happen in this fight, right? Some shit can happen. With that being said, I think Marina Rodriguez is a fucking beast. Excuse my language. I gotta go with Marina Rodriguez. She's been absolutely goldmine for me in the last 3 fights. Been backing Marina Rodriguez the whole time. Xiaonan Yan, man, she beat this chick, beat Angela Hill, which is kind of easy to outpoint Angela Hill if you're a strong point fighter like Xiaonan Yan, to be honest. She beat KK, who's on a downfall at that point. Beat Claudia Gadelha, who's on a downfall herself. Semi, I don't know where her head is at. And then I don't know, man. If she came in with a W into this fight, I'm sure she would not be such an underdog. Like I said, I don't like this price. Minus 280 is just absolutely disgusting for me. But I have to respect Marina Rodriguez. Look at the record, 15-1 record. She's a tough chick, man. Again, also lost to Carla Esparza via split. But she's been doing so much work here. She's deserving of a title fight, if you ask me. She got 8 decisions, 6 KOs, 1 submission. She's a technical point fighter. Good wrestling, good takedown wrestling. Although Xiaonan Yan, I don't know how much of wrestling she's going to be imposing on a Brazilian. But man, I have to edge Marina Rodriguez here. I just really have to. I have to be honest with myself, and I'm gonna go with the favorite here, and I'm gonna pick that side. And I think she really does it. She really does it, and she might be that next challenger at the strawweight division, and that'll be a great fight. Marina Rodriguez versus Thug Rose. Hell yeah, sign me up. I'll watch that fight for sure. So that's my official pick. Marina Rodriguez. Really not much to say. It could be going a distance, by the way, though. There's a distance smell, and I mentioned my brother, and he said, bro, I like the distance in this fight. I said, I can't blame you. But minus 235 says everybody likes the distance in this fight. So let's see if he's right. Let's see if the bookies are right, and we're gonna side with the distance call rather than taking the money play here, because anything can happen. Because Xiaonan can simply out freaking point Marina Rodriguez, and possibly, but let's see. I'm sure Xiaonan doesn't want to get cracked again. Okay, this one, Jalin Turner, fight number 8. We're getting there, guys. We really are. Appreciate you guys if you stuck so far with me. By the way, if you like my content at this point, you know what you have to do. You know what you must do, right? You got to hit that like. You got to hit that sub. You got to give me some comments, you know, saying, bro, you the man. You're a killer with these picks. I'm just playing with you. But, yeah, engage with me. Let me know what you guys think so far. We got Jalin Turner taking on Jamie Mullarkey, okay, the guy we mentioned earlier. And I'm going to keep this very, very short. We got a young stud, 26 years old, Jalin Turner, a.k.a. the Tarantula. He's 6'3", 75.5 reach, taking on 6-footer, who's not small himself, by all means, excuse me, with a 74 reach. So, in terms of physicality, yeah, he will be the bigger guy. Absolutely. And I'd like to see the face-off tomorrow to really examine the size discrepancy. But if you look over here, someone that opened up at minus 135, Jalin Turner is currently minus 168. So, what I'm going to tell you is what people are realizing. The level of evolution and progression for Jalin Turner from the loss to Matt Frevola, pardon me, is a lot more than Jamie Mullarkey. Now, Mullarkey, coming off 2 losses, Brad Riddell, who's phenomenal, Farazim, who just got destroyed by Terrence McKinney, so that didn't age very well, but he knocked out Kama Worthy, and he knocked out Devonte Smith, who we just talked about, right? So, man, I just think Jamie Mullarkey is a little bit over his head, and the talent discrepancy from a pure athletic standpoint and from a pure analytical standpoint and just from an observation, from my observation, Jalin Turner has progressed a lot better and evolved a lot more than Jamie Mullarkey. The guy prior to fighting Vicente Luque had seven rounds of finishes, okay? Everything has been finishes. Now, he has been finished himself, I gotta tell you. So, you could argue the chin susceptibility. Because, look, KO or loss, punches loss, and then he runs in at 170. He comes in against Vicente Luque. First round, beat down, okay? It was a good round until he got beat down. So you could say that chin is in trouble a little bit. You could argue that. And you could say that, listen, Jamie Mullarkey, who's just knocking out dudes back to back, he's going to come here trying to knock him. But I'm going to tell you something that I saw in the last couple of fights for Jalin Turner. His fight against Uros Medic, pristine performance. Evolutionary performance. He wants to avoid those hard exchanges. He likes keeping the distance now. And he's not stupid because now he's going to grapple with you. And when a 6'3" dude grabs you like that, he's going to throw you down if he really wants it. So, I'm going to tell you, man, I think Jalin Turner does not want to exchange too much with Jamie Mullarkey. He wants no part of it, if you ask me. He's been doing well with 2 submissions. The evolution is there. He can hurt you from the outside, pick you apart, throw you down a couple of times, get you tired. find the killing opportunity and attack it. With that being said, I'm going to have to side with Jalin Turner for the simple fact I think that his progression from all the collective losses, being on a 3-fight win streak, put him in a position of, that mature path where he knows now that I don't really want to stand and bang because I could get cracked. 3 cracks to the chin. He's susceptible to it. And I gotta be very, very honest with you. Vicente Luque put him out cold. The man was sleeping. He was motionless, okay? So that was actually a very devastating beatdown because he got rocked and then ground and pound until knockout. Jamie Mullarkey, on the other hand, he has been losing decisions. So he's a tough guy. I'm not taking that away from him. His durability is probably a lot more coming into this fight than Jalin Turner. I just feel like I don't know if I want to believe in Jamie Mullarkey enough, which I really don't. And I'm thinking that wrestling is going to play a part here. This is going to be the deciding factor. And at a price tag of still, that's available to me at -116, I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to say I'm going to take it. Jalin Turner is the pick. The size advantage and his progression and his current utilization of submission and wrestling is going to be hard to take away from this fight. Public perception is 46-54. People like Jamie Mullarkey here. People really like it. And I don't blame them. And they probably thinking what I just described. Jalin Turner chin? Question mark. Susceptible. Suspect. But I'm gonna say that he avoids it. I'm gonna have to believe he avoids it. Long kicks, rip to the body, takedown, work, hit, ground and pound. Jamie gets up, rinse and repeat, couple of times, hurt him again, give up the back, submission. That's it. If not, knock him the hell out because it is what it is. And that wraps up the fight for Jalin Turner. I think that's where we're gonna go. Moving into the main card, fight number 9. We are almost there. Guys. Bear with me. So, we got Sergey Spivak taking on Greg Hardy. I'm going to tell you this right now. I personally believe that this fight is Greg Hardy's last chance. I mean, it has to be. He's a polarizing figure, but coming off 2 losses, 2 knockouts, like back to back, and if he gets destroyed here, he probably will do very well in other organizations. But I feel like he might get cut. In fact, I'm probably going to be almost certain, 85% certain, he loses the fight, he has to get cut. It is what it is, right? Training on American Top Team, so he's getting some work over there. Taking on Sergey Spivak, who's also coming off a loss. So let's look at them side by side. We got Spivak, Polar Bear, taking on Greg Hardy, the Prince of War, 27 years old. 4, Sergey Spivak, youth, check. But we know that in heavyweight division doesn't really matter too much, especially if you're 33. That's actually the peak for heavyweights, right? And you could be blossoming all the way up to like 38, 39 for heavyweights. So the age is not really a factor. In fact, it's actually a good thing if you're a little bit older and mature. Last weight in, 238. So he comes in a little bit lighter. He comes in a little more athletic, right? Greg Hardy is literally coming in at that limit of 265. 6'3" to 6'5", 78 to 80. So they're both pretty big dudes, right? Heavyweight. No surprise. Now, with that being said, big difference. One guy, he's pretty much a dangerous power puncher. Greg Hardy, he has the power. Believe me when I say it. He rocks people. It really hurts. I mean, the guy is just huge. However, we know his athletic background, so he's an athlete. Regardless of how much he weighs, he's still an athlete. But Sergey Spivak. He likes to wrestle. He has a better foundational MMA block. Okay, he likes to wrestle. He likes to keep the control. He likes to be in control of the fight, and he likes to dictate where it goes. If he survives the first 2.5 minutes, the first opening minutes of the fight, which is probably the first half of the first round, 2.5, his chances just go a lot. They're going to go up. Minus 220 will become 300, minus 350, minus 400. Because the gas tank for someone who uses an albuterol inhaler because he has asthma, which I'm not going to say he doesn't, but it just says a lot, right? It really says a lot. Like, come on, dude. You know, I'm going to have to question your durability. I'm going to question your gas tank here. Sergey Spivak just has to survive here. I have to respect the power for Greg Hardy because he can crack you. But I say that, man, coming off a loss from Sergey Spivak to Tom Aspinall, he's like my lucky charm in the heavyweight. He's my key, okay, to the heavyweight division. I love Tom Aspinall here. I think he's an excellent technical boxer, and him on the underdog price against Volkov. Give me that if that fight happens again. You know, I don't know if he gets the visa, Volkov that is, to go fight in the UK. But anyway, let's focus at the task at hand. Let me see when he got knocked out against Tom Aspinall. Let's see if he survived the power. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You see what I'm saying? That I promise you I didn't look this up. I swear to God, he has to survive the 2 minute and 30 mark. But you know what? It doesn't matter with Tom Aspinall because he has the cardio to go into the second and third round, I believe. But Greg Hardy doesn't. He has to survive the 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He just has to survive. If he doesn't, he loses. My confident pick in here, my confidence level of this fight is very, very, very small. I mean, it's almost non-existent, to be quite honest with you. I actually have no picks here. I made no picks here except the fact that we have to look at what happens here. We have to say that this is a big boy fight. And we have to say what happens with the distance. Fight doesn't go to distance is juiced so much. Do I like it? I personally don't. I don't like this price tag because what if Spivak just grinds him 3 rounds straight, nonstop, neutralizes him. I don't know. I really have no leans on this, and this is out of 13 fights, out of every position that I already mentioned, I haven't totally skipped a call. I'm willing to skip this call and say, you know what? I'm probably going to be really, really excited for that featured fight, right? At the prelims, which is Jalin Turner, who I'm high on, right? Who I wanted to succeed. I want Marina to win. Although I think the fight goes a distance over there, I'm probably going to be so tired that when this main event starts, the main card starts, I'm probably going to want to take a break here, okay? And this could be a good break because I really don't care what happens to Greg Hardy. I really don't care if he wins. Really don't care. And I'm really, really honest. And I'm sure this is not what you guys want to hear, but I haven't skipped anything here, but I don't know. Everybody likes Spivak. But everybody's forgetting the hammer because Greg Hardy, coming off 2 losses, especially a man that just got knocked out 5 months ago. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, how bad does he want to keep his job? I don't know, guys. I don't want to pick Greg Hardy, but I'm gonna say Greg Hardy. I'm gonna take the dog. I'm going to take the dog. I'm probably going to regret this. I'm going to take Greg Hardy. Okay? But I would not play anything on him. But I would take Greg Hardy. Okay, fight number 10. Fight number 10 is Kevin Holland taking on Alex Oliveira. So we're at almost 1 hour mark, so we're gonna wrap this up relatively soon. Okay, but it's coming, guys. It's coming. So Kevin Holland, the Trailblazer, is taking on Alex Oliveira, and I'm gonna tell you here, I like the youth from Kevin Holland. I like the speed from Kevin Holland, and if they want to bang, Kevin Holland is dangerous. He has vicious kicks, and that overhand long right hand with 81 reach, 6'3" at 170. You gotta give it to him. You have to. And as much as I like as I like Alex Oliveira, man, he's been taking L's back to back to back. And, shit. His only path to victory is to exploit the biggest weakness Kevin Holland has, and that's to grabble the shit out of this guy, take him down, and keep him down. But I think Kevin learned a lot. I think he learned. His last fight was 4 months ago. Accidental headbutt. Prior to that, 2 losses. Marvin Vettori, beast. Derek Brunson, beast. Who just got finished, by the way. I'm going to go Kevin Holland. 7 out of 10 confidence level, so pretty high there. Kevin Holland, give me money line Kevin Holland here. I'm going to take Kevin Holland here. I'm going to take Kevin Holland through minus 355 at this point. So that's the pick, If the fight's standing, especially if he can keep it, and I hope he does, for the love of God, please keep the fight standing. Crack him. Okay, we're now in the top 3. Fight number 11. Fight number 11 is Edson Barbosa taking Bryce Mitchell. What can I tell you? I can't probably tell you anything that you haven't heard already. So, Edson Barbosa, he's been there with the who's who. He's been there with the Khabibs, Kevin Lees, Paul Felder. He's been there with Giga Chikadze. He's been there with Dan Ige. He's been there with Daniil Dariush, Gilbert Melendez, Anthony Pettis, Tony Ferguson. He's been with everybody. For a long time, he was at the 155. He recently went down to 145. His welcoming fight was Dan Ige, and he won. He lost via split. Some argue that he won this fight. I actually think he won the fight. I will be one of those guys that say. Then he won Mark won Americani. No surprise. And then he beat Shane Burgos. No surprise. You stand and bang, you get violated. Then he just came across someone who was younger and hungrier and more durable, and that was Giga Chikadze. And in round number 3, he got put out. So now he fights Bryce Mitchell, whose song I played. And I'm going to tell you, I like Bryce Mitchell overall. I think his pressure that he brings to the fight is incredible. He takes people down relatively easy, if I might add. And he's a leech, okay? Once he grabs you, he doesn't really let you go. Now, you could fight and you could get up, but you find yourself on your butt just a minute later. And he looks for crazy submissions. He got a twister submission. He loves the arm triangles. So he's really good, and he believes in himself. He really believes in himself. He's only 27 years old. He loves what he does. He's professionally undefeated. He does have that one blemish against Brad Katona via a rear naked choke at the Ultimate Fighter. But man, push comes to shove though. He's really good. He beat Tyler Diamond, Bobby Moffett, Matt Sales, Charles Rosa, Andre Fili. Here's that twister on Matt Sales. And against Charles Rosa, he kept going for the twister. He actually was almost there twice. Man, I gotta tell you, I'm really, really sold on him in terms of his talent. The boy eats just straight out of his garden, out of his farm. The youth is spectacular for him at 145. Edson Barbosa just turned 36, who's still going to be in phenomenal shape. Mark my words, he's going to come in with like an 8-pack, ripped to the core. But yeah, he also got violated recently. You got to remember that. I don't expect Bryce Mitchell finishing him via power. So if you're going to take Bryce Mitchell straight, is probably a good play still. He's keep going up. He was minus 140-ish. I want to say minus 148. And now look where he's at. People like him. People do like him. Minus 146, and now he's minus 172. So bomb down to 150. Bomb down to 158. Bomb down 162. Bomb again 170. I do expect him to just keep getting juiced a little bit more and more. I like the straight play on him. I like him in the parlay. I like Bryce Mitchell overall. I think he's just a real genuine dude who loves Arkansas, who loves America, who loves freedom, who is not afraid to speak his mind, and he's on top of all a badass fighter, man. He also is the king of rap in MMA world. He is the king. He's the GOAT right now. Tyron Woodley has nothing on Bryce Mitchell. I promise you. Listen to that mixtape. All the glory I fight for, and that's my job. All the glory go to God. I'm telling you, man. Love the dude. Love his personality. Love his fight style. He's taking on a very dangerous fight. This is the toughest fight of his life by far. Him taking on Edson Barbosa when Barbosa's 32, Edson Barbosa all day. But now you kind of have to favor the kid a little bit, And if he takes Barbosa down, he just has to avoid that spinning back kick, sweeping leg kicks, shin kicks, and dangerous hands, fast hands too. Sniper. This guy's a sniper, man. Edson Barbosa's a sniper. I love Edson Barbosa. Like I said, a couple of years ago, I'll be all over Barbosa. This is an extreme fade and extreme just fan base, I guess, on Mitchell. Here's your 63%. I probably would agree with this stat. 63% is where I feel confidence in here, which is about, it's about right, man. I'm right there. 63% confidence level. I like that. That's good enough for me. Being that I have Mitchell everywhere, what I would do in this fight, to be quite honest with you, I would probably say Bryce Mitchell double chance, because if he wins, he's not going to win by a knockout. Bryce Mitchell by submission or points. You bring that a little bit down, because I don't think he knocks him out. I really don't think so. But that kind of gives you that extra juice where he was originally, and that's where I would probably take him. But yeah, if you want to go that far. Now, we are at the co-main event, guys. We're almost there. Promise you. Okay, let's go into the co-main event. RDA taking on Renato Moicano. Last-minute replacement Renato Moicano, and hence the catch weight of 160. Can't blame. Again, I'm just going to say, I wish it was Islam Makhachev, because he suffered no injuries, and him beating, man, a legend like RDA would have been the icing that he needs to be like, yo, I'm the real deal. Him just beating Bobby Green that everybody knew he's going to win, doesn't sit right? Dominant performance, yeah. He won, yeah. Was he going to win? Yeah, pretty much. Everybody thought that. Just him beating RDA, though, would be so much better. But didn't happen. So, oh well, right? Renato has the size advantage here, 5'11 to 72. RDA's been in camp. He's been training. Renato just finished Alexander Hernandez. I don't like this last-minute replacement in this spot. Some people like Renato Moicano. I like RDA. I'm going to pick RDA for the simple fact that He's been in camp, and I think he's more ready. He's more conditioned, okay? He's more conditioned, and I don't know how the weight cut is going to go for Renato Moicano. I'd like to see him on the scales. I have no official place at the moment. I'm going to lean RDA because of his extensive record. He's been there with the who's who and everybody, right? He's been here with everyone and their mother. Donald Cerrone in grappling over here. Paul Felder, Michael Chiesa, Leon Edwards, Kevin Lee, Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, Robbie Lawler, Neil Magny, whoever this guy is, I don't remember. Tony Ferguson, Eddie Alvarez, Donald Cerrone, he actually beat Anthony Pettis, Nate Diaz, Benson Henderson. You know, these are big, big names. He fought even Khabib, you know, back in 2014. Yo, beat Donald Cerrone twice. I mean, you know, he's been there for a minute, guys. I mean, geez, Luis, he's been there for a goddamn minute. Is that a bad thing? It kind of is, because, you know, that wear and tear in the body is ridiculous. And you got a hungrier guy who has a size advantage and who's tough. Renato Moicano is a beast. Who lost to Fiziev, right? Got knocked out. Man, RDA is so freaking tough. I'm going to go with RDA. Co-main event. Should be a 5-round fight. He's been training for 5 rounds. I'm just worried that Renato Moicano will get gassed out, and that's when he just takes it. So minus 170 RDA. Sign me up. I'll take it. Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington. We did it, everybody. We are in the main event for UFC 272 going down. We have the Bad Blood grudge match. You talk about grudge match, this has to be on top of everything. Colby Covington. Just gonna give you check marks, okay? And then count the check marks, and you take your pick. My official pick is Colby KS Covington. Not because I like the guy. I think he's a piece of shit, to be honest. But I can't let my emotions get the best of me. So I'm going to give you check marks, right? Output, check mark. Cardio, check mark. Wrestling, check mark. Athleticism, check mark. Believe in himself, check mark. Age, check mark. Physicality, same, right? Jorge Masvidal, striking, check mark. Strength, power, check mark. Output, not really there. Wrestling, not really there. We saw the blueprint. We saw what Kamaru did to him. Press him against the cage, take him down. He's not gonna do shit. Believe in himself, yeah. Confidence, yeah. What else? What else can you give me about Jorge Gamebred Masvidal? Pretty much nothing. Okay. His last 2 losses are to the champion. Okay, I don't know why he fought twice. I don't know why Kamaru did that, because it's an easy fight. He took out Darren Till. Good win. Took out Ben Askren. The guy got knocked out by Jake Paul. I'm not even counting that. Believe it or not. There's nothing to be proud about that. Took out Nate Diaz. Man, anyone with a good striking ability can beat Nate Diaz and just beat him up in doctor stoppage, right? But you see, when he fights technical fighters like Stephen Thompson, he loses. He fights Stephen Thompson, he loses. Damian Maia, he loses. Do I expect him to give his all? He is. He has to. He has to put up everything because his career is on the line. I don't necessarily think he gets cut, but he becomes a gatekeeper. And any upcoming star that finishes him, that's his last fight. Promise you. I promise you. Because after this fight, if he loses, his stock plunges. It goes down. Out. Lights out. His show stops. Colby Covington, he'll bounce back. He's still good. He's still in the game. But all the check marks, man, and I know he's a piece of shit guy. I really don't like Colby Covington. In fact, I hate his character. I hate everything about him. But and I hate to say it, he talks the talk, but he walks the walk, like he says. The man can fight. You cannot take that away from him. His pressure is relentless. His output is stupendous. His cardio is phenomenal. 5-round fight. If he doesn't get clipped, and his jaw checks out a bit, right? He got a broken jaw from Kamaru Usman, but that's because they just stood and boxed for freaking 5 rounds, right? And guess what? First fight, Colby Covington was winning the fight. I hate to admit it, but he was. And a lot of people will tell you the same thing. In the rematch, he went all the way to the distance. And he was in bad shape, right? In the early rounds of the fight, probably the first round, he was extremely hurt. Still weathered the storm. He bounced back. Jorge got knocked out. Got put to sleep. He didn't know what happened. Man. Jorge's going to come out rough. He wants to knock him out. Jorge only wins by a knockout. He cannot win this by decision. No way I would ever agree to that. If he does, he does. But that's not what I like. Colby Covington by decision. Colby Covington by decision is probably where you want to think the fight. But Colby Covington is the side. I don't have a lot of plays with Colby Covington. I believe he's my last leg to a phenomenal night parlay. In fact, because for the hell of it, Colby Covington will be my leg for this parlay. This parlay will be $50. In fact, let's make this $50. Let's make this a 50. This is a 0.5 unit play. For me, let me add some cash to my bank account and we're gonna hit this bet, and we're gonna put this parlay in that we just sauced it up together. Just bear with me. I'm gonna do this really, really quick. What else can I tell you about this fight? Man, he beat RDA. He beat Robbie Lawler. He lost to Kamaru. He beat Tyron Woodley, but man, I'm telling you right now, he violated Tyron Woodley, and he beat Kamaru Usman. I mean, he lost to Kamaru Usman but before that, look what Colby did before that. Robbie Lawler, RDA, Damian Maia, Dun Yoon Kim, Brian Barberina, Max Griffin, Jonathan Munir. He did lose to Warren Alves. He did in 2015. But he didn't lose prior to that. He was on a fight win streak. And then since then, he came on, right? So, yeah. Colby Covington has to be the pick. Like, has to. Because, feelings aside, Colby Covington, man, his pressure, his cardio, his wrestling, all these factors. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if he gets knocked out by Jorge Masvidal, and Jorge Masvidal literally tells everybody he's gonna be in the hospital, he's gonna catch a beating, I'm gonna put a hurt on him, because that's all he can do. Physicality, that's the only thing he wants to do. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much what I think about this. Have to be going with Colby. Let me see if my transfer came through. Almost there. Forgot. So Colby Covington is going to be the pick, most likely by decision. But I'll just take Colby to win the fight. And by the way, what is Colby by decision? Colby by decision. Because I don't see him knocking out Masvidal. It would be crazy if he does knock him out, right? Colby by points -105. That makes it so interesting. Double chance. Colby Covington, double chance. Colby Covington by KO or points. Ooh, this is where they're looking at. This is where the book is looking at, huh? They don't believe in Colby's submission game at all. At all. Let me see Colby record. 6 submissions under his record, too. 8 decisions. In the upper echelon, he's just a grind machine, man. He just grinds you out, So, Colby KS Covington, just gonna have to take the money line. Straight pick. Probably not the most popular pick out there because everybody wants Jorge to win, you know, and I would understand that. But like I said, I don't want to play with feelings here. I'm just gonna be objective. I don't think overall, I don't think Jorge Masvidal is really that good. As a mixed martial artist, no. As a striker, as a freaking striker, he's dangerous. He can beat anybody, almost anybody. But when, you know, you put that, although he got whipped by Kamaru, that was a stand-up fight. He got whipped over there. So, but Kamaru is a monster, man. That guy's a pound-for-pound king right now. So the money's in. I'm gonna back it up with you guys. You already know the deal. I don't play games. I live for moments like this. Now, I will share another parlay with you after I put this in, and I'm going to call this a wrap. These are my play picks, as I told you. Here's the place. We in it, baby. Bet is placed. Let's get it. Just while I have you here, closing out remarks at 121. All right, so here it is. I'll give you my 6-leg parlay. You ready? Umar Nurmagomedov, Mariya Agapova. Remember I told you, you know, but that chick is live. You know, Moroz is live. Marina Rodriguez, Kevin Holland, Bryce Mitchell, Colby Covington. I got $35 for $225. That's my 6-leg parlay. And I have my I have a 5-legger that I want to share with you. That's a 2-unit play for me. Where is it? All these 11 legs, 14, they're all futures. So here it is. My 5-leg parlay. Umar Nurmagomedov again. Marina Rodriguez, Kevin Holland, Bryce Mitchell, Colby Covington. Very similar payout. $200 for $865, so $600 profit if it happens, and if not, it is what it is. I was extremely profitable last event, almost 30 something unit profit, so I'm not even crying. Okay, I do want to enjoy this card. I want to have fun. I do want to make some money. You have my picks. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'd like to remind you, make sure you give me that like. Make sure you give me that subscribe. Come back for more. And, yeah, I'm probably going to do another show. I want to do another show. But if not, have a great weekend. Enjoy. Be safe out there. God bless. And make sure you show some love to me too. Subscribe, like, and make sure you want to engage with me. Comment down below, right? Your boy is out. Let's make this money. And yeah, deuces. I'm out of here.